Welcome to Freestyle Fridays. If this is your first time here, this is uncut, uncensored, unedited, unscripted. I have nothing in front of me today except an Apple Watch I'm going to put on here in a minute when I go work out, and a little cup of coffee. We already get a little bit extra energy for the workout. I'm recording this on Tuesday, January 6th, around 9:20 in the morning. Just finished up a lot of my morning routine except the workout, knocked out my reading and my journaling. Reading a really good book. I don't know if I shared with you or not, but this book has been really good by Ryan Leake, How to Work with Complicated People. I think I did say something last week, but it's even getting better as I dig into it. You can see by the way the pages are tabbed that it's something that I definitely enjoy. There's a lot of things in here that really resonated with me, not just in work, but in life, in relationships, and keeping our expectations in check, and maybe understanding that people are going to be different, right? So let's find what we enjoy in them, the differences, and appreciate that. All right, so the question I have for everybody today to start out with, and some of you that have listened before know how this works, but if you're new here, sometimes it's a rant, sometimes it's just a lesson I learned, sometimes it's just honestly just a bunch of different things we got going on in my brain today. So that's what's going to be number 3. It's going to be number 3 today. But the first thing I want to talk about is I want you to, if you're running a business, or if you have a team, or you're in leadership, or you have support staff. I did this with some of my VIP clients the other day. So I want you to look at the people on your team and in your environment. And if you knew everything you know about them now, would you still hire them? Right? Would you still bring them into your world? Now, a lot of people I've talked to said, no, they wouldn't. But now pause for a second. That's not the reason why I ask it. The reason I ask it is, how different are they than you? And can you learn more from them? Right? Is there something you want to be able to learn from them, or something you guys can collaborate on? Because being the same, it's a lot harder to get to where you want to go. We have to have some collaboration. We have to have some push or pull. But I challenge you in any of those relationships in work and even in life. The people in my circle, if I knew what I knew about them, what I know about them now when we first met, would I be friends with them? Gosh, the answer is no to a lot of that stuff. But the select few, I think we really need to focus on the differences and really appreciate the differences, really appreciate who they are. And maybe they're going to show you a different life through a different lens, right? You're going to be able to see things a little bit differently than you were before. And a lot of people I know have made moves in the last few weeks in the industry that I spend most of my time in, which is the mortgage and real estate space. And some of them have left companies they've been at for an extended period of time. I'm like 20 years. And I know that every time I've left a company I've been with for an extended period of time, I've had several jobs over my 53 plus years where I was at for 5 or more years. You look back on it and you go, gosh, I really appreciated this part of that journey and the lessons I learned, but man, I wish I'd have made that move sooner. Right? I wish I'd have made that move sooner. So evaluate the situations you're in, the people that are in your lives, your support staff on your teams. Embrace the differences, but don't put up with it if it's something you don't want to move forward with, right? So the first part is, what's different? What do you like about that relationship? Does it outweigh any of the negatives? Maybe get a third party involved if you've got a coach or a consultant or somebody else that's working with you, and help you walk through or talk through that has no emotional attachment to who those people are. See, what I do for a lot of my clients is when they're going to bring key people on, they have me do an interview. And I have zero emotional attachment to whether they hire them or not. Now, they have an emotional attachment because they want to fill the role and put somebody in the place and do those types of things. And you talk about saving a lot of time, right? And making sure we don't have the wrong people in the wrong seats on the bus. So evaluate who you have now, or reevaluate them. Make sure they're still a good fit, but do that at least once a year. Play to their strengths. Do their strengths or the differences they have outweigh any of the negatives that come along with it? If they do, pour more into them. If they don't, then maybe it's time to have that conversation and maybe even move on from them and find somebody else. What I know is that people on your teams in your life, especially in business, are probably only supposed to be there for a season as you grow, unless they're growing alongside you and you're seeing the growth as well. And as a top performer, a high producer, it's really hard sometimes to find people that want to run with you. And what I mean by that is want to go the extra mile, do the extra work, do the big things, and keep moving. So you have to continually try to find people that want to, right? You have to continually try to find people that want to be part of that journey and part of it. Part of that's on you. You need to communicate the journey, the vision, the clarity that you, of where you want to go and who you want to become and what your business to be. And it's the same in your relationships with your spouse or your significant other. Where do you want to be? Like, where do you want them to go? They need to be bought in and part of that as well. And you to be part of where they want to go. Right. So the communication is key there. And that's one of the things that talked about in the book this morning was communication. And one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned on communication, I was about 19 or 20 years old. I was at the Bank One Tower downtown Indianapolis, and the president of the bank was there. And we were having a conversation. And the one thing he shared with me was the worst thing about communication is to think it happened, right? Is to think that communication actually happened. So with that being said, be clear with the people in our circle, in our sphere, where we want to go, who we want to become, and make sure that they are part of that journey once you evaluate them and their strengths and weaknesses. Okay. I hope that was clear. It was a lot in 7 minutes, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot. The other thing is this is going to be released this Friday, which I believe is the 9th of January. I'm speaking on next Friday, the 16th, in Orlando at the Rosen Shingle Creek at the National Association of Mortgage Brokers Focus Conference. I go on at 1:00. The reason I share that with you is if you are interested in going and want a free ticket, just message us, right? Reach out to Taylor at chriswelton.live and she will get you the information. She'll send you over the code or the link to be able to get that free ticket. And we'd love to see you. We'd love to have your support. And if I've never met you in person, we'd love to meet you in person. We're going to be there all day signing books and doing a few different things, but we will be on stage from 1 to 2 o'clock. I hope this is going to be a great Friday for you and you're starting off the morning with Freestyle Friday and took a little bit away from this. If you think it's of any value, please share it with somebody. Send it to a friend, a coworker, even a loved one. That's the idea behind Freestyle Fridays. I hope you make it a great weekend. Take care.